welcome to Photoshop Now YouTube channel. All images in Photoshop starts with a pixel. Any picture that we see digitally is all made up of a bunch of units called pixel. Pixel is the short form of picture element. This picture that you see now is made up of 743 pixels width and 977 pixels height. And the total number of pixels in the image is called the image size. In this example, the pixel count or the image size of this picture is 743 into 977, which is 725,911 pixels. Sounds like a big number, but this is actually a low resolution picture or called as low res image. Let us see a high resolution version of the same picture, which is 3712 pixels width and 4884 pixels height. In a 100% view, you see every single pixel that is there in the image, although you don't see the full image. As you zoom in to say 25%, you see one pixel for every four actual pictures vertically and 4 pixels horizontally. That is, you see 1 pixel for every 16 pixels of the image. Zooming it to 33.33%, that is, one third of the original image, you see 1 out of every 3 pixels horizontally and 1 out of 3 pixels vertically. And for every 9 pixels out there, you see 1 pixel of the image. When you zoom to 50%, you see 1 out of every 2 pixels horizontally and 1 out of 2 vertically. That 1 pixel for every 4 pixels of the image. As I continue to zoom in, you now see 100% of the image. That is, every single pixel in the image at a 1:1 ratio. On a technical note, each pixel contains 3 bits of information. 1 bit for each color channel of red, green and blue. On a side note, you might be wondering how I zoom in and zoom out seamlessly. Here is a quick mini course on zooming and unzooming. When you open an image in Photoshop, it attempts to show you the image fitting to the screen. If the image size is very small, that is within the size of your workspace, it shows 100% of the image. And when the image is bigger than your workspace, it fits it in your visible workspace. These are the keyboard shortcuts I would like you to memorize and practice so that it becomes your second nature. This is very important for your ease of operation and I cannot emphasize its importance any further. Hold the Control key, Command for Mac, and tap the minus key. The image unzooms and decreases like from 100%, 66.7%, 50%, 33%, 25%, and so on. And the same way, holding the Control key, again Command key for Mac, and tapping the plus key, it zooms incrementally up to 100% and beyond, like so. To fit the image into the screen of your workspace, press the Control key, Command key on Mac, and tap the number 0. And to view it 100%, press the Control key, Command key for Mac, and tap the number 1. This is a mini course on zooming and unzooming. Let's move on to our main topic, pixels and resolutions. The second one that we are going to see is altogether a different animal, which is called the resolution. Resolution has nothing to do with the display and it relates only to the printing media. Resolution is set in terms of pixels per square inch, say 100 psi as an example. This means that in a square inch, there are 100 pixels in row and 100 pixels in column, that is a total of 10,000 pixels packed in a square inch. This measurement, square inch, need not always be inch per se, but can also be square centimeters. I now introduce you to the command to see the various measurements that we have seen above. Go to Image, Image Size, which can also be achieved by a keyboard shortcut, Ctrl Alt I on Windows or Command Option I on Mac. Let's inspect each of these elements here. First, it says the image size. Photoshop uncompresses each pixel in the image to arrive at the image size. On a note of curiosity, if you want to know how this value is achieved, here is the calculation, just to let you know. You know the total value of the pixel of this low resolution version of the image, which is 725,911 pixels. And we saw earlier that each pixel contains 3 bits of information, each one for channels red, green, and blue. Thus, the value in terms of bytes comes to 725,911 into 3, which is 2,177,733 bytes. Byte is a lower unit of computer memory. And to convert this into kilobytes, divide this 2,177,733 by 1024. That is, 1024 bytes makes 1 kilobyte, which is 2126.69 kilobyte. And to convert this kilobyte into megabyte, divide this again by 1024, which is 2126.69 divided by 1024, which is equal to 2.0768 or rounded off to 2.08 megs. The next, you have the option to display the image in terms of percentage, pixel, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, and picas. While percentage, pixel, inches, cms, mm are known measurements, would you be surprised if I say that you have been very likely using the point size without giving a second thought? Yes, the measuring unit that you decide the size of the font in software programs like Word, Excel, etc. is the same point size mentioned here as well. Pica is another unit of measurement that is used mostly in deciding the font size, and it is 1 pica is equal to 12 points. While these measurements are only for your knowledge sake, it is best that you leave it in terms of pixels for the ease of measurement. The next option is Fit to, and it gives various preset options like so. If you are sure of the size of the sheet that you are going to print, like an A size or a legal size, or in terms of dimensions like 4 by 6, these can be chosen, and the DPI denotes the printing term or the printer's capability of printing dots per inch, DPI. We do see another option, auto resolution. This one also deals with the printing technology. That is, if you're going to print a draft quality, then it automatically suggests that the resolution for this image should be 133 pixels per inch. And likewise, the printing resolution will change if you choose good to 200 pixels per inch or the best quality, which is 266 ppi. Another factor that you should be aware of, or your printer will let you know the lines per inch that the printing machine is capable of printing. In this case, we have assumed it to be 133 lines per inch. What you see a small link icon between the width and height makes sure that you don't stretch the image disproportionately and that it is resized as per its original dimensions. Let's choose the measurement to percentage, and if you're going to downsample the width, say by 50%, the height also automatically changes to 50%. If you're going to uncheck or delink this, the image will get squished if you change only one parameter, here to only 50% of the width, and the image will appear squeezed like so. It's best to leave the chain linked to both width and height unless you know what you're doing. The next option is the resolution, which deals with printing of the image and can be arrived at the methods that we just saw above. Before we go to the last option of resampling methods, let's uncheck it and see its effects on the change in the resolution. This will also show us what this resampling is actually doing. When you uncheck, nothing dramatic happens on the screen. However, if you change the values of width, the resolution automatically changes. For the sake of easy mathematics, let's change the dimension of the pictures as below. I use the crop tool, tap the C key to get the crop tool, and note the measurements are in inches, and when I choose the option width into height into resolution, I know the size of the picture is nearly 49 inches. So I'm cropping this to around the figure of 40 inches by 40 inches at 100 ppi resolution. And just for aesthetic appeal, I'm clicking and dragging the image down. Also note that once I click, I immediately hold the shift key while dragging the image down so that the image moves vertically down in a straight manner. If I don't hold the shift key, there is a possibility of the image moving around like this. Or if I hold the shift key first and then click the image, it gives a different result that is not required. And now if I press Ctrl Alt I, Command Option I in Mac, I get this dialog box. Sure enough, the dimensions are 4000 by 4000, and if I change the dimensions to inches, it is 40 inches both width and height, and the resolution is 100 ppi. Now you could see with the resample option unchecked, not only the width and length are linked, but the resolution is also linked together, and you cannot uncheck or unlink this bonding. Ignore the resolution above for now and imagine you have a printing machine that can print this image in a sheet of 40 inches and width and 40 inches height at a resolution of 100 dpi. If you change any of these factors, for example, instead of a 40-inch sheet, you want to have this printed on a 20-inch sheet, both width and height, then the printer has more capacity to print higher DPIs, that is dots per inch, and the image size will increase proportionately. When the size of the image becomes half, the resolution increases by double. Likewise, if you want to print this image in a sheet of 80 inches by 80 inches, guess what? The resolution becomes half to 50 dpi. Supposing your printer says that he can print only at 300 dpi and you are not worried about the print size, you input 300 in the resolution value and you will be able to print it at a size of 13.33 inches by 13.33 inches. To conclude, if you do not check the resample option, the size and resolution will vary depending upon your input, either the size or dimensions of the image. This is a bunch of budding flowers that I took, and purposefully I have made this into a very low resolution version. As you could see, even the 100% view, the size and dimensions are just 696 by 464 pixels. And press Ctrl 0, Command 0 on Mac to fit this in full view of the screen. The image size is zoomed to 184%, or if you want to be precise, it is 183.84%. And as before, we bring up the image size dialog box and I click the resample option. And this time I tick the resample option and choose the option to automatic. So far nothing has happened to the image except you see only that the width and height of the image are linked and the resolution is set free. Now you're going to crank up the image to a whopping 1000%. That is to resize it 10 times bigger. Though this is dramatic, the point here is just to show you how each option behaves when you choose different sampling methods. The options are not many, and so I am not going to minute details of each option works, but only give a broad guideline which option to choose when you either downsample or upsample, or in simpler terms, when you make the image smaller or bigger. The best option to choose most of the times is to allow the Photoshop to decide for itself the sampling method, that is, to choose automatic method. However, there are other options too, like preserve details when you enlarge a picture, bicubic smoother for enlargement, bicubic sharper while reducing the size of a picture, and three other options, smooth gradient, nearest neighbor, and bilinear. I always advocate the use of latest software, and one reason here is a case in point. If you are using Photoshop CC version, there is a new technology to do better enlargement with much better control and much better output. Of course, you won't find it here straight away as we need to enable that option. To do this, cancel this dialog box and go to Edit, Preference, Technology Preview and check the option Enable Preserve Details 2.0 Upscale and click OK. Photoshop now features artificial intelligence assisted upscaling to preserve important details and textures while resizing images without introducing distortions. Once you check this option and come to the image size menu, that is Ctrl Alt and I, you will find another option that is there on the drop down menu, like so. I'm going to drag this window so that we see a full preview of the image at 100%. By default, it is choosing automatic and it does a pretty decent job. To see what it does on the image, click on the image and you will see a jagged image. That is, the image is upsized without resampling applied, and once you let go the mouse, it gives the image after resampling. I'm going to do it for a couple of times for you to see the difference. Now I choose the new option that is available, Preserve Details 2.0, and you will see Photoshop has done a much better job in resizing this image. To do a comparison, I am going back to automatic resampling method, and I would want you to observe the place near the stem portions of the flower where it shows something like a dark halo, clearly visible when I zoom it further. But when you choose Preserve Details 2.0 and crank up the reduced noise to 100%, the picture is much more smoother. I am now going back and forth a couple of times between automatic resampling and the new feature in Photoshop CC, Preserve Details 2.0, for you to see the difference. As far as downsampling is concerned, it need not stretch the pixel like it does in upsampling, and Photoshop needs to throw away pixels, and hence in most cases, Photoshop does a pretty good job with the automatic option. This is the way that you resize an image effectively in Photoshop, either upsampling or downsampling. But do remember, we need to exercise these methods only when we have no other option of getting a high resolution image. If you are able to get a high resolution image or use a high resolution scanner to upsize a low res image, always go for that option. Thank you very much.